I do want to very quickly send a quick message to all the pollsters, the election pollsters. Blow me. I don't ever want to from you again, ever. I don't ever want to hear, we've corrected for the overcorrection of the voters. You don't know shit about shit. And I don't care for you.
Jon Stewart has long been a trusted voice in political commentary. As the former host of The Daily Show, he became a cultural force, using humor and sharp analysis to hold politicians and media figures accountable. He's been a vocal critic of Donald Trump, often ridiculing his policies, controversies, and leadership style. For years, networks like MSNBC, CNN, and The New York Times have treated Trump as a unique and existential threat to democracy. While Trump has been involved in numerous scandals, Stewart argued that the way mainstream media frames its coverage of him has become as much of a problem as Trump himself. According to Stewart, MSNBC's obsession with Trump has become so extreme that they often distort reality, exaggerate minor incidents, and ignore their own hypocrisy, all in a desperate attempt to keep their audience engaged. And that's exactly what Stewart exposed in this viral moment. As he called out MSNBC's double standards and relentless fear-mongering, the crowd cheered, roared, and clapped, proving that even many liberals are tired of the media's selective outrage and bias. This wasn't about supporting Trump. It was about demanding honesty and fairness in journalism. But what exactly did Stewart say, and why did it hit so hard? Let's break it all down. During a high-profile panel discussion, Jon Stewart went directly after MSNBC's anti-Trump rhetoric, arguing that their biased reporting has become counterproductive. Despite being known as a progressive and left-leaning commentator, Stewart didn't hold back, accusing the network of twisting reality to fit its preferred narrative. You guys are so obsessed with Trump that you can't even see when you're manufacturing outrage instead of reporting facts, Stewart said, pointing directly at the MSNBC panelists. I get it. Trump's a mess, but sometimes you're making things up just to keep the outrage going. The audience erupted in applause, clearly resonating with his words. Stewart then dropped another bombshell. MSNBC's entire business model depends on Trump. You guys need Trump, he said bluntly. You need him because he's your best ratings boost. If Trump disappears tomorrow, what are you going to talk about? Biden's policies, inflation, the border, please. You'd have to actually do journalism instead of this 24/7 Trump hysteria. This point hit hard. MSNBC, like many networks, has spent years profiting off of Trump coverage. Every speech, every tweet, every controversy, no matter how small, has been blown up into a national crisis. Why? Because it keeps viewers glued to their screens, boosting ad revenue and engagement. But Stewart's words expose the game, and the MSNBC panelists looked visibly uncomfortable. They weren't expecting one of their own, a respected liberal voice, to call them out in front of a live audience.
Just want to point out, just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results, that they will pronounce with certainty, will be wrong.
And that this is the beginning, the first election of the future, really. And I think we are moving towards a post-racial America.
Yeah, that lasted a day. And then, of course, in 2012, Obama won again.
The GOP needs to send a powerful signal to Hispanic voters that the party respects them.
And send a powerful signal to the Hispanic community. The GOP did.
The media double standard. Why Stewart's criticism? Hit hard. Stewart then went further, exposing the hypocrisy and double standards in mainstream media's Trump coverage. He pointed out that when Democrats make mistakes, MSNBC downplays it or ignores it. But when Trump does something similar, it's portrayed as the end of democracy itself. When Biden stumbles over his words, it's a moment of exhaustion, or just a stutter, Stewart pointed out. But when Trump stumbles, it's proof of cognitive decline and a national security risk. The crowd cheered louder. Stewart didn't stop there. He listed several real-life examples of how MSNBC's reporting changes depending on who is involved. When Trump mishandled classified documents, MSNBC called it a threat to democracy. When Biden was caught with classified documents in his garage, MSNBC called it a nothing burger. When Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate Biden, it was an impeachable offense. When Biden threatened to withhold aid to Ukraine unless they fired a prosecutor investigating a company linked to his son, it was just standard diplomacy. At this point, the MSNBC panelists were struggling to respond. They knew that everything Stewart was saying was objectively true, but they had no good defense. If you keep lying about the small stuff, you're just handing Trump supporters the perfect excuse to dismiss everything you say, Stewart warned. And that's exactly why Trump's base doesn't trust the media. You make it too easy for them. The crowd went wild. The audience's reaction, a media wake-up call? By the time Stewart was done, the audience was on their feet, clapping and cheering. Even some of the MSNBC commentators looked shaken, because deep down, they knew he was telling the truth. The moment immediately went viral, with reactions pouring in from all sides of the political spectrum. Conservatives praised Stewart for exposing the mainstream media's manipulation tactics. Liberals respected him for being honest and self-critical, proving that not all left-leaning voices are blind to media bias. Independents and moderates saw this as further proof that the media has lost credibility and that people are hungry for real, honest journalism. Even some longtime MSNBC viewers admitted that Stewart had a point. "I watch MSNBC every day," one Twitter user wrote. "But even I have to admit, they sensationalize everything about Trump." Stewart just said what we've all been thinking. Jon Stewart's fearless takedown of MSNBC wasn't about defending Trump. It was about something much bigger, the integrity of journalism itself. Throughout his career, Stewart has been a staunch critic of political figures from both sides. But this time, his focus was on the media's growing tendency to distort, exaggerate, and manipulate narratives for the sake of ratings. His message was clear: if the media wants to be taken seriously, it must return to honest, fact-based reporting, even when it means challenging its own biases. For years, outlets like MSNBC have presented themselves as defenders of democracy, champions of truth, and an antidote to what they see as the chaos of the Trump era. However, Stewart's words exposed a hard truth. Many of these networks have become so entrenched in their own ideological battles that they've lost credibility with the public. By sensationalizing Trump's every move, cherry-picking stories that fit their agenda, and downplaying issues that don't, they have turned news into a product of partisan entertainment rather than a pillar of democracy. People are finally starting to question the narratives they've been fed for years, and this could be the turning point that reshapes modern journalism. Will the mainstream media recognize its false and correct course? Or will it continue on the path of selective reporting and manufactured outrage? Only time will tell. What do you think? Was Jon Stewart right to call out MSNBC? Does mainstream media need to be held accountable for its bias? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And if you found this discussion eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into today's most pressing issues. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.